Hey coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D with the 1939 Jefferson nickel coin from the United States of America. We're looking at the back of it here. We see that there's no mint marked here. There's a D there, and if you can see it way over here, there is an S. So they made three different mint marks they minted them at three different places in 1939, and that is the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, the Denver Mint with the D, and the S for the San Francisco Mint. So let's just pull one of these out and talk about it. In 1939, that was the second year of the Jefferson nickel. The first year it came out in 38, they replaced the Buffalo nickel from the United States, which had started in 1913 and went till 1938. In 1938, they started with the Jefferson nickel at the same time that the Buffalo nickels were being made. So they didn't make that many of them. They made about 30 million, 29 or 30 million of these in 1938. Then in 1939, they decided to go whole hog, and they made them at Philadelphia, San Francisco, in Denver. And let's talk about how many they made. At the Philadelphia Mint in 1939, they made 120.6 million. Okay, that's compared to 20 million the year before, or under 20 million. Just at Philly, they made 120.6. They made 3.5 million at the Denver Mint, and they made 6.6 million at the San Francisco Mint. So essentially 130 million of these the second year when they had made less than 20 the first year. Well, when they rushed to do that and pushed everything through, they made a lot of mistakes. They actually got the wrong, they made some weird mistakes too, and let's talk about that. These coins, you look at these coins, these are relatively hard to get in any kind of condition. You get up to MS60, and you're talking $5 to $7 minimum for these. MS65, you're talking in the 20s or 30s. It doesn't go really high from there. Mint state with the full steps gets up into the hundreds unless you get one of the weird kind of error coins that they minted that year. So let's talk about those weird kind of error coins. Well, in 1939, they made a regular Philadelphia coin with the so-called wavy steps, the 1939 reverse. They also made in 1939 a Philadelphia version with even steps, and the even steps were from the 1940 reverse. They also made a 1939 with a doubled Monticello. And let's look at that. Let's see if we can see any doubling there. We really can't. And that's going to be your easiest thing to find on here, because when you're trying to look at steps, you can't tell whether this is wavy steps or straight steps or even steps. There's no steps there at all. That's what happens with these nickels. And none of these can you see anything that remotely approaches a step. You can see the Monticello in all of them, though. And so that's what you want to look for if you can to find the doubling in these. So then they made the 1939 Denver with the wavy steps and even steps. Then they made the 1939 San Francisco with the wavy steps and the even steps. So in all of those cases, you can get it. If you can find the doubled Monticello on the Philadelphia coin, that's going to be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if you get it in really good condition. Even if you get it in bad condition, not great condition, a very good's worth 40 to 50. A fine 12 is worth 60, and a very fine 20 is worth 90 plus. So these could be very valuable coins. What's on the front of them? We haven't seen that yet. Well, of course, it's Jefferson. It says, "In God we trust" here. Liberty here with a star, and I want to make sure you can see that's a star there, not a dot. Down here we see 1939. And then we look way down in the bottom to see the engraver's initials, and we can't see anything. And we're not going to see anything on the 1939s because they didn't put Felix Schlag's initials on it SCHLAG. They didn't put his initials on it until the 60s. That's what it looks like now. They put a little bit more space in it, and they put the FS for Felix Schlag, who engraved this coin back in 1937, I think, for the 1938 version. So this is the same thing that's going to be on the front of all of these coins, and actually it's very nice. So no initials, Jefferson looking left, again the star on all of these, and then if you want to get one of these in a proof version, there are some proof coins from 1939, and they are listing at about $125 for the 1939 reverse, $130 for the 1940 reverse, and those are all going to be Philadelphia coins. You aren't going to find a proof set with a letter on it, because the letters were at that the proofs at that point were made in Philadelphia only. All right, well, that's all we have today from Big D Coins. This is DC San. Hopefully you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave any comments you might have in the comments section. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and have a great day.